The story of Daniel in the lion's den is one of the most powerful stories of faith and courage found in the Bible. It is a story that has inspired people for thousands of years because it shows what can happen when someone refuses to give up their faith, even in the face of fear and death. This story takes place during the rule of King Darius, after the Babylonian Empire had fallen. Darius became ruler over a huge kingdom and needed trustworthy leaders to help govern the land. Among all the officials in the kingdom, one man stood out above the rest. His name was Daniel. Daniel was not powerful because of wealth or military strength. He was respected because of his wisdom, honesty, discipline, and strong faith in God. He worked faithfully in everything he did. He never cheated, lied, or abused his position. Because of this, King Darius trusted Daniel more than the other leaders and planned to place him over the entire kingdom. But this caused jealousy among the other officials. They could not accept that Daniel was honored above them. The more successful Daniel became, the more hatred grew inside their hearts, so they decided to destroy him. The officials searched for mistakes in Daniel's work. They watched him closely, hoping to find corruption or failure, but Daniel remained honest in everything he did. There was nothing they could use against him. Finally, they realized there was only one weakness they could attack: his faith in God. The officials knew Daniel prayed every day. They knew his relationship with God was more important to him than anything else. So they created a dangerous plan. They went to King Darius and spoke with pride and flattery. They suggested that the king should create a law saying that for 30 days, no one in the kingdom could pray to any god or person except the king himself. Anyone who broke the law would be thrown into a den of lions. The king, not realizing it was a trap, agreed to the law and signed it. According to the laws of the Medes and Persians, once a decree was signed, it could not be changed. Now Daniel faced a terrible decision. He knew the new law. He understood the punishment. If he continued praying, he would almost certainly die. But Daniel also knew that his faith could not be abandoned out of fear. So Daniel did what he had always done. He went home, opened the windows toward Jerusalem, knelt down, and prayed to God 3 times that day. He did not hide in secret. He did not stop praying to protect himself. He stayed faithful, even when danger surrounded him. The jealous officials immediately caught Daniel praying and rushed to the king. They reminded King Darius about the law and then accused Daniel of breaking it. Suddenly, the king realized he had been tricked. King Darius respected Daniel deeply and did not want him harmed. The Bible says the king was distressed. He spent the whole day trying to find a way to save Daniel, but the law could not be changed. As evening came, there was no escape. Daniel was brought to the lion's den. Imagine that moment. A dark underground pit filled with hungry lions. The sound of roaring echoing through the stone walls. Soldiers standing nearby. The jealous officials watching with satisfaction, believing their plan had finally succeeded. Before Daniel was thrown into the den, King Darius spoke to him and said, "May your God, whom you serve continually, rescue you." Then Daniel was lowered into the pit. A massive stone was rolled over the entrance, and the king sealed it with his own ring so no one could interfere. That night, King Darius could not sleep. He refused food and entertainment because he was filled with worry about Daniel. While the king spent the night in fear, Daniel remained inside the lion's den. But something miraculous happened there. God sent an angel to shut the mouths of the lions. The hungry beasts did not attack Daniel. They did not touch him. All night long, Daniel remained safe in the middle of danger. This is one of the most important lessons in the story. God did not stop Daniel from entering the lion's den. Instead, God protected him inside it. Sometimes people think faith means life will always be easy, but this story teaches something deeper. Faith does not always remove the storm immediately. Sometimes faith gives strength and protection while walking through the storm. Early the next morning, King Darius hurried to the lion's den. His voice was filled with fear and hope as he called out, "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God been able to rescue you from the lions?" Then came the answer that changed everything. Daniel replied, "My God sent his angel and he shut the mouths of the lions." Was alive. The king was overwhelmed with joy. He ordered Daniel to be lifted out of the den immediately. When the servants pulled Daniel out, they found not a single wound on him because he had trusted in God. The miracle shocked the entire kingdom. The same men who tried to destroy Daniel were exposed for their evil intentions. Their jealousy had failed completely. King Darius then made a new decree across the kingdom. He declared that people should honor and respect the God of Daniel because he is the living God who rescues and saves. The story of Daniel in the lion's den carries powerful lessons that still matter today. First, it teaches us that true faith is revealed during pressure. Anyone can claim faith when life is comfortable, but Daniel stayed faithful when his life was on the line. Second, the story warns about jealousy. The officials were so consumed with envy that they became willing to destroy an innocent man. Jealousy blinded them and filled their hearts with hatred. Third, Daniel's story teaches courage. Courage does not mean feeling no fear. Daniel understood the danger of the lion's den, but he chose obedience over fear. Another powerful lesson is that God's protection can appear in impossible situations. A den filled with hungry lions should have meant certain death, but what looked impossible to humans became possible through divine intervention. The lions themselves also symbolize the fears people face in everyday life. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of pain, fear of the future. Sometimes life feels like standing inside a lion's den surrounded by danger and uncertainty. But Daniel's story reminds us that faith can bring peace even in terrifying moments. The den that was supposed to become Daniel's grave became the place where God's power was revealed to an entire kingdom. And that is why this story remains so powerful thousands of years later. It is not only about surviving lions. It is about trusting God when everything seems impossible. Daniel refused to let fear control his faith, and because of that, his story continues to inspire millions of people around the world today. Thank you for watching. And remember, sometimes the greatest miracles happen when you stay faithful even in the middle of fear.